June 4th, 2010, Skyline Elementary. A young boy vanishes within hours of his science fair project, a mystery that gripped Portland and remains unsolved to this day. Friday, June 4th, 2010, the last day of school before summer break at Skyline Elementary, a small rural school nestled in the wooded hills just outside Portland, Oregon. Inside, students were excited, not just about summer, but about the science fair. A day of celebration, learning, and open classrooms. A day that should have ended with smiles and backpacks slung over shoulders. Instead, it became a date frozen in time. Kyron Horman, just 7 years old, quiet, thoughtful, obsessed with frogs, bugs, anything that lived under a rock. He was the kind of kid who brought home more mud than homework. But on this day, he was proud. He'd worked hard on his project, the red-eyed tree frog. At 8 a.m., his stepmother, Kyron Horman, drove him to school. She says she walked with him inside, helped him set up his exhibit, and took a few pictures of Kyron in front of his display. 8:15 a.m. Terry says she and Kyron toured a few other exhibits. Around 8:45, she claims she saw Kyron walking down the hallway toward his classroom. But here's where the timeline cracks. Kyron never made it to class. He was marked absent, though the school didn't notify his parents until hours later. A 7-year-old, inside his school, during a public event, gone without a trace. Who saw him last? Where did he go between 8:45 and 9 a.m.? Why wasn't anything noticed sooner? Terry left the school shortly after 9 a.m. She said goodbye, then went about her day. But by 3:30 p.m., as yellow buses rolled up and parents waited curbside, Kyron's seat was empty. That night, parents called friends. Teachers were questioned. The police were summoned. Search teams were launched into the forest that wrapped around Skyline Elementary like a secret. Kyron Horman had vanished, and the silence that followed was louder than anyone could bear. Kyron Horman, Kyron's stepmother, she told police she watched him walk away toward his classroom. Then she turned and left the building. She had a toddler in the car, her 18-month-old daughter. From here, she says, she ran errands. Her timeline, at first, seemed routine. Between 9 and 10:10 a.m., she visits 2 different Fred Meyer stores, buys some medicine, a few small items, receipts back it up, security cameras catch glimpses. But then, there's a gap. No confirmed sightings, no GPS pings, no surveillance, no witnesses, just radio silence. A black Ford F-250, big, powerful, capable of going anywhere, especially places no one's looking. Terry checks into her gym. Security logs confirm it. She's seen stretching, talking casually with staff. 12:40 p.m., she leaves, and at 1:21 p.m. she posts something to Facebook. Kyron, smiling in front of his display, a moment frozen, and yet, by then, he was already missing. It wasn't until 3:30 p.m. that she returned to the school bus stop, the moment the lie unraveled. The driver says Kyron wasn't on the bus, calls were made, teachers checked records, and someone finally noticed he never made it to class. At 3:56 p.m., a 911 call was made. The school went into lockdown. Kyron Horman, age 7, was officially missing. But investigators would soon find themselves circling back to that missing window of time, that silent stretch in Kyron Horman's morning, the black Ford, the gaps, the questions. In those missing 89 minutes, something happened, and no one has explained what. By Friday evening, Skyline Elementary was no longer just a school. It was the center of Oregon's most urgent missing persons case. At 4:33 p.m., Multnomah County deputies arrived. The science fair had ended hours earlier. Dozens of people, teachers, students, families, had walked the same halls Kyron had, or was supposed to. But no one saw anything. No screams, no struggle, no clue that a child had simply vanished. A massive search operation launched immediately. Over 300 trained search and rescue personnel were deployed that weekend. Helicopters scanned canopies, dive teams combed ponds, infrared sensors swept the terrain. They searched ravines, drainage pipes, barns, even animal dens. Nothing. By Monday, the entire Portland metro area was watching. TV broadcasts looped Kyron's face. A $25,000 reward was offered. Tips flooded in, none that led anywhere. Police used the phrase criminal investigation within days, but no suspects were named. No Amber Alert was issued. because officials believed there was no confirmation of an abduction. Yet how else does a child disappear from inside a school? Investigators began to dissect every second of that morning, reviewing surveillance footage, reconstructing timelines, re-questioning every staff member, parent, and volunteer on campus. But they kept circling back to one story that didn't quite sit right. Terry Horman, the last person to see Kyron, the one with the unaccounted time, the truck, the silence. The search continued for weeks. Over 1,300 tips poured in, nothing stuck. And for every hour that passed, the likelihood of finding Kyron alive slipped further away. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and yet there was no body, no crime scene, no witnesses, no explanation. A child didn't just vanish. Someone, somewhere, knows exactly what happened that morning, and they've stayed silent for 15 years. As weeks passed with no signs of Kyron, the search turned inward, not into the woods, but into a home. Terry Horman, Kyron's stepmother, had been cooperative at first. She gave interviews, answered police questions, but something about her story didn't sit right. Twice she sat for a polygraph. Twice she failed. And then came the murder-for-hire plot. A man came forward, a landscaper who had worked at the Horman property. He told investigators that Terry had tried to hire him to kill her husband, Kyron Horman. She said she wanted him gone, wanted to be free of him. Kyron filed for divorce and a restraining order, accusing Terry of being involved in the disappearance of Kyron Horman. Terry, once a quiet stay-at-home mom, now found herself cast in the public eye as something much darker. "Terry, where is Kyron? Did you hurt him?" She didn't answer. She never did. In July, another name surfaced, D-Day Spicker, a friend of Terry's who had abruptly left work on the day Kyron vanished and allegedly refused to cooperate with detectives. She became a person of interest. Her alibi cracked under pressure, but again, no charges, just more questions. There were whispers of deleted text messages, missing cell data, a second-hand person seen inside Terry's truck, but none of it could be proven. Not enough for an arrest, not enough to go to trial. In secret, a grand jury convened. Witnesses testified, but no indictments came. The case stalled. Time passed. "I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt Kyron. I want him found just as much as everyone else." But by then, few believed her. The public wanted justice. Investigators wanted answers. But Terry, whether guilty or not, was never charged with a single crime. She remains the last person known to have seen Kyron alive. 15 years, no arrests, no resolution, no answers. But the case has never truly gone cold. In 2022, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released this age-progressed photo of Kyron. Stronger jawline, older eyes, still wearing glasses. His mother, Desiree Young, never stopped searching, never stopped hoping, never stopped fighting. Somebody knows something, and that somebody is still walking around free. Every year, on June 4th, the community holds a vigil, not just for Kyron, but for what his disappearance took from all of them. Behind the scenes, investigators still review the case. Tips are still followed. Evidence is retested. In 2025, the district attorney's office confirmed that the file is still active and being worked. All it takes is one tip, one phone call, one overlooked detail to crack the silence that surrounded this case since day one. A $50,000 reward still stands. No piece of information is too small. Somewhere in these hills, the truth is still buried. Kyron Richard Horman was 7 years old when he vanished. He'd be 22 today. If you know something, say something. If you're intrigued by unsolved mysteries and chilling cases, check out my playlist, True Crime Murders and Disappearances, for more unsolved cases.